For those of you who are with us for the first time, and I'm happy to say that there's many tonight, I'm Marilyn Zakhour. I'm the founder and CEO of Centaurs, and we're an organizational leadership development consultancy. And at the heart of our work is this belief that when leaders can see and change the systems that they operate in, they can build organizations that thrive and deliver. Before we begin, I want to start by introducing the partners tonight who are holding the space with me. I'm going to start with Tala Aoude over there. This is like a band. We're all different instrument players. She is the conference curator and the most amazing human being. Without her, we wouldn't be here tonight. She's also leading our capability and leadership development practice. So for all things training, leadership development, you know where to find her later. She is really the driving force behind the conference, and every year we partner to make it happen in Q4, which is always a bit of madness. But then we get to see such wonderful leaders show up and have great conversations, so it makes it all worth it. Thank you, Tala. Also at the door is our best boss, who's Razan, who welcomed you, who has made a lot, like our lives so much easier today by making sure that every detail was perfect. So we thank her, even though we can't see her right now. Thank you, Razan. And then we have Wissam. He's an executive leadership coach, former advisor at the UAE Prime Minister's office, and he's been our partner throughout the entire journey of the conference this year. Thank you to all of you. And as always, we thank the Centaurs who have been working from different countries, Cairo, Beirut, the UAE, to make this event happen as well. And to you, the audience, we want to welcome you and tell you we don't take your time for granted on a Tuesday night, late, بالعجقة. And for that, we have a gratitude wall that we maintain. We've been doing this as a tradition since the first event we ever did. It's private, so the names aren't publicly out there, but we keep a wall of every person who's ever given us their time, their generosity, recommended us, said a good word. We have a big gratitude wall, and we send you positive energy whenever we can. So thank you for being here tonight. I will introduce our guest of honor in a bit, but I'm going to talk for a few minutes more to set the scene for tonight. I'm really thrilled to be here. It's one of the events of our Cosmic Conference, which is a bit of a strange setup, because we actually run the conference over 7 weeks. We figured, why get people to come to us when we can go to them? And why do it in one day when we can do it in 7 weeks and learn so much? We're going to have in total 5 in-person events and 12 online sessions. And we've been learning so much along the way. And every year we try to pick a theme that we feel weighs on the minds of the leaders that we work with. This is our 6th edition, I'm proud to say. And we've worked on everything from the future of work, how to be a hybrid leader, the employee experience, building companies that can deliver. And then last year, Tala's distracted, so she's not clicking. Couple more. One more. Yeah, thanks. Sorry, I told Tala, I'm going to give you the crappiest job. You have to be my clicker, but I can't hold any more things. So last year, we started with a topic that was leadership polarities. Actually, we met right here. Some of you were here last year. And we talked about these tensions that as leaders, we have to get better at holding. Things that we sometimes feel are in opposition to each other, but actually, we need to do both at the same time. Engage our people and demand performance. Think of the present and the future. Be in tradition and in modernity, in profit and in growth, right? The more senior we get as leaders, the more we actually have to hold these things together, which is really hard because we all have a preference. And this year, in a way, is a continuation on that. And I'm a bit of a nerd, so there's always a bit of an academic framework somewhere. And for those of you who, like me, love a good framework, we're basing ourselves on something called the universal model of leadership. And the way that this model operates, it measures how you become a really effective leader and tells us a story of what we need to do better as leaders. And the first thing is you need to balance your people and your tasks, which is a polarity, which was last year's topic. And the second is that you have to go from what they call your reactive strengths to your creative strength. What's that, Marilyn? Well, our reactive strengths are strengths that actually have helped us throughout our whole careers. Things like being perfect or driven or ambitious, being a people pleaser, being someone who always steps back from a situation to assess it. But when we are the only people doing those things, after a while, we get tired. We become the bottleneck. We're firefighting all the time. And what we need to do as leaders is figure out how to turn these into system strengths. So how do we take what makes us great as an individual and now make it a capability of the organization? And that's what we're going to be talking about. And that's why our conference is titled The System is the Strategy, which is how do you build great systems that deliver when you're not in the room. And of course, there's no better way and no better place to talk about it than here, because you guys are in the midst of an extraordinary transformation, and you're building the systems that are going to carry the vision into the future beyond all of us, inshallah. So I will not bore you for too long, but I'll give you a bit of a definition. What is a system? You know, someone walked in, they're like, listen, I read your title, it said, stop firefighting, I need that, but what is systems thinking? I'm like, great, come on in, we'll explain that. So in simple words, a system is a bunch of parts that are interconnected, that operate with each other, and somehow they create something that's bigger than the sum of their parts. And being a systems thinker is an ability that we develop to be able to see those parts, to see the patterns, not just the events, and to try and understand how, by influencing one part of the system, we can get it to deliver a better outcome. The good news is that people from this part of the world actually rank higher on systems thinking than anywhere else. We have the right mindset. We understand what it takes in order to truly encompass the system. We understand the methodology even if we don't have the words for it. And we practice this all the time. We have the muscle. We're going to talk a lot about Ibraheem's muscle and also get you all to reflect on your own of how you show up and how you activate the system and let it deliver more than it can. The reason for this, we always joke, is we're a good systems thinker because we grow up in communities and large families. In my family, if I invite the wrong aunt before the others, the world will end, right? Pick the right aunt. And that's why we grow up in a place where community, family, collaboration is at the center of our values, and we understand all of these things instinctively. That's why being here, we did the event in Dubai and Beirut, is so powerful, because for us, this isn't theory, this is lived realities. And to me, of course, by the way, every single event, Tala's looking at me, she's like, oh my God, Marilyn's gonna lose it. Every event, at the wrong time, the coffee machine begins. Every single time. It doesn't matter. In the brief, we're like, listen, someone touches the coffee machine, you stop them. It happens every time, but look, Razan was on top of it. To me, and I'll kind of close on this before giving it to Wissam for just a couple of minutes to introduce what we're going to be doing together, because we are going to listen to Ibraheem's story, but you're also going to reflect on your own tonight. I just want to end with a metaphor that I discovered, a myth that I discovered as we were researching for this conference, which is Indra's net. And it's an ancient wisdom that describes the universe as a net. And at the intersection of each rope, there's a jewel. And those jewels have infinite facets, and they reflect each other. So when a jewel shimmers over here, all the others shimmer as well. And I really want you to think that today, each of you, and every day, you're a jewel. And what we're hoping to do together is to come out of here shining a little bit brighter. And for that, Wissam is going to be our guide.
Thank you, Marilyn. That's great. I hadn't prepared anything about jewels, but I'll try to get us to think about systems a little bit. So something really important Marilyn talked about is this idea of moving from reactive to creative. And really, this is one of the big things about system thinking. How can we design our systems, our organizations to function in a way that serves our long-term goals, that continues to work even when we're not there? So systems thinking is about this shift from reactive to creative, to moving from being the person who drives everything to creating a system that drives the outcomes that you're looking for. It's about operating with intention. And in Arabic, we have this already in our grammar, right? For those of you, I think most of us here today speak Arabic, we move from being al-maf'ul bihi to being al-fa'al, right? It's in our grammar, in our sentence. Yeah, exactly. So you wanna try to make that shift. So this is what we're going to be talking about today. Is this shift, and this is why it's so important for us to deal with the complexity of the systems we're in. So whether you're a CEO, whether you're an executive, whether you're a leader, whether you're just someone who's trying to get things done, systems thinking is going to be super important for you. Now, in a minute, we're gonna listen to Marilyn talk to Ibraheem about the journey that he went on through transformation. And what I'd like you to do as you listen to the story is really reflect on how you would have tackled some of the challenges that he faced. What are the things that you might have done if you were in his shoes? What are some of the things that you would have thought about, done, implemented? What are some of the systems that you might have designed or thought about? But here's the catch. We're going to hear a lot of great things today, but remember that as Ibraheem was struggling with a lot of those challenges, he was also dealing with issues that were emerging in the organization. He was dealing with challenges that were coming up day to day. He was dealing with pressures. Sometimes when we look back and we tell a story about things that happened in the past, we forget about, we don't talk about those day-to-day challenges. We connect the dots really neatly. But we all need to live our life looking forward. So think about how can you, in the chaos of the things that are emerging, in the pressures of the work that you do, in the pressures that we put under to react to things that are emerging, how can we continue to create space for systems thinking, for creative energy rather than reactive energy? Ask yourselves what you would have done in some of the situations that will have come up. So what are some of the habits, some of the rituals that maybe Ibraheem worked on, and what are some of the things that you can borrow in your own challenges? So with that, Marilyn, I'll hand back to you to take us through what's going to be a very exciting segment of today.
Thank you. And finally, the moment we've all been waiting for, because when we had a conversation with Ibraheem, we really saw how he embodies this approach, whether he knew what it was called or not, or calls it that or not, doesn't matter. But someone who's built systems, who connects people and organizations, and also national ambitions, and shapes transformation at scale. Please join me in welcoming Ibraheem Sheerah, Chief Transformation Officer at Saudi Airlines. I will now turn off this mic and move on to the next. They're not working yet? They are. Okay, beautiful.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Thank you for being here tonight.
Yeah, it's my honor.
Let me introduce you, because there's a lot that people don't know about you.
Yeah.
So, Ibraheem is a strategic transformation leader at Saudia Group. He's driving enterprise-wide transformation across airlines, cargo, logistics, and training divisions. With over 25 years of experience spanning aviation, logistics, defense, infrastructure, and public sector reform, he is a recognized board member and transformation expert shaping the Kingdom and MENA region's aviation future. He is also a human, a husband to an extraordinary woman, a father to 4 incredible children, and a grateful son to remarkable parents. He lives by these principles. Family is the foundation of purpose. Transformation begins when we choose courage over comfort. And every system thrives when leadership and collaboration align. He brings humanity and purpose to leadership. He began his career, not unlike many of us, I'm sure, as an engineer in 1999. Later, he held senior roles in project management, strategy, and business development at AEC, a SAMI subsidiary, and SAR, a PIF company. From 2016 to 21, he played a pivotal role in advancing Vision 2030 initiatives, including the privatization and quality of life programs. And since 2021, as we know, he's led Saudia's group transformation, driving performance, innovation, and trust to inspire alignment and lasting change. And the airline's ranking proves that, from 82 to 16?
17.
17 worldwide. As a board member, Ibraheem applies the belief that strong governance empowers sustainable growth. He is a champion of innovation and entrepreneurship, and he supports founders and emerging ventures, asserting that entrepreneurship succeeds when curiosity meets execution. He has completed over 46 executive programs. I asked him when he finds the time for all of that, and he just signed up for one that we're delivering on psych safety, so I'm not sure. Maybe you live 3 days in one. Across Harvard, MIT, INSEAD, he is, of course, recognized amongst the MISC 2030 leaders. He's a sought-after international speaker on leadership, strategy, execution, and transformation. And tonight, he has given us his time, his wisdom, and his stories. Ibraheem, we are honored to have you with us. And I can't wait for everyone in the room to hear the beautiful stories that you've been sharing with us. So let's begin.
Okay, so thank you so much. Wow. That was,
it's quite the CV, I have to say.
Let me just summarize my CV. I'm a very common person. Still learning from a lot of things around him, still working in the unknowns, still feeling people, still learning from everyone. And I was just talking to Wissam about a situation that I was in when I was talking to a security guard. I was, strumbled with a lot of problems, and I went down to the security guard and I was listening to his problems. So I drink a very humble tea with him, black tea, and I was talking to him and I told him how his life is going on, and he keep telling me about his problems, and I was keep listening to him. So I threw my problem, my tiny problem, inside his huge problems, huge financial problems, huge family problems. First, the good thing about listening to other problems is that you know that whatever problem you have is insignificant compared to others, which makes you feel good. Second is that you're going to add value to this person's problem. So I simplified my problem and I throw it in his bundle of problems, and guess what? He gave me a solution out of nothing. So a light bulb just came in my head, and I was questioning myself why I haven't came up with this solution in my desk on the 7th floor in Al Khaldiyah. I have a huge office. So I said to myself, I had all these certificates, all these things, and I still incapable of solving such a problem like this. And this guy, this person, I just solved it in 10 or 15 minutes. I applied his solution. I recognized him in front of the Director General, His Excellency, and it's unbelievable. So just this story explains how I work. Just this story. But if I take you back, I had a lot of dreams when I was a child, but I thought of myself as someone who might not achieve his dreams. Why? Because of the situation. I thought that my father was a great person. He passed away, but he traveled to Italy, spent some time there, 10 years, and he came back. And I like his way of thinking. Of course, 3 women, I always say that they influence where I am right now, on the top of the pyramid. So I have my mother, my wife, and my daughter. So those 3 women are the reasons why I'm here, why I'm sitting here. Okay, so my father just showed me the path. And he always tells me that you will be something in the future. I still don't know what something means. So hopefully in good things, not in bad things. So I started my career in AEC as an engineer. Of course, I graduated from a university, from King Abdulaziz University as an engineer. So I was also a very stubborn person at college. Every time I question everything, every time I say why do we do this, why do we do that? I never take anything for granted. I never take any models or framework or theories or things for granted, because I believe that everything is right or wrong. There is nothing like this thing you have to take in it and just embrace it and just follow it right away blindly without questioning what it is and how is that going to be applied and how you're going to apply it. So I was a troublemaker at college. So I graduated from engineering with double major, with aeronautical and mechanical engineering. So you know that I like physics and mathematics. And I finished master degree in King Saud University. So I traveled to Riyadh, finished master degree in King Saud University. Again, I was a troublemaker there. So at the beginning of my career, actually I worked in R&D. So when I worked in R&D, I was lucky that I was working with very good leaders. I learned from them a lot. That is why every time I was asked about the definition of leadership, I said it's difficult to define. It's difficult to define leadership, Tara. Leadership, management, managing leader, this is difficult. You just tell me stop whenever you tell me, because if I start, I wouldn't finish it.
I'll interrupt, don't worry.
This is me. So every 5 years, I put a milestone for my career. So every 5 years, I say that, where do I want to be in 5 years, in the first 5 years? Where do I want to be in the next 5 years, the third 5 years? I failed a lot, and I got disappointed a lot. I got pushed back a lot. Just for your records, when I graduated from King Abdulaziz University, we usually apply for jobs by having a folder called the green folder. And because I was graduated from King Abdulaziz University, no one wants to hire me. No one. And how I got hired to AEC, it was a very great story. I got rejected by 28 companies. By Aramco, by Sabic, by others. Every time I go to the security, from the security guard, they told me, I'm sorry, we do not hire from King Abdulaziz University, go out. So I said to myself, why haven't they test me? And let them test it. I finished 178 hours of engineering. So I returned back. Luckily, by chance, we in our bachelor project, it was what we did, we built a machine. That machine cost around $11,000 in Holland, in Amsterdam, and we did it for 3,000 riyal in King Abdulaziz University. Until today, it's there I don't know if it's not working, of course. So we took this machine, myself and another gentleman who was a colleague of mine, we went to Caxt. By the way, one of the things that makes me good is I like facing audience because I used to sing.
Really?
Yeah. So when I used to sing, I like to be criticized. So I used to go even internationally. I went out. I was crazy. So I did a lot of things. So anyway, so that makes me have guts. I have ruthless. I can do things. I don't care. I take risks. I did something very risky. Alhamdulillah, I didn't go to problems for my father. I was a very what do you call it, reckless person?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I do anything. And if you tell me tomorrow we have to travel, I say, yalla, let's go. So that was in my 20s. So when I explained the project in front of the audience, one of the people who was sitting in the audience and cast is His Excellency Khalid al-Biyari. If you know Khalid al-Biyari, he's the deputy of the Minister of Defense. So I was very passionate about what I did, and I loved it. I did every piece of it. And the other guy, Saeed Al-Ghamdi, he went to Aramco immediately. Mashallah, he was with me. So I was standing there. No one looked at me except this person. He came to me. He said, are you willing to work in Riyadh? I said, okay, I'm in Riyadh. I just came in Jeddah, and the reason I studied in Jeddah is because my father was sick and he traveled to Medina, so I have to Anam the elder, so I was. So I told him, yeah, why not? He said, but we will test you. I said, no problem, test me. I went to Riyadh. So I got accepted, but the way that I got accepted is very funny. They brought me a machine, and they told me, we want you to model 3D modeling. If you know CATIA, Pro Engineering, I was very fast in this. And you see me tick, 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 I choose the model. You see the model is very fast. So I said to myself, I told my Dr. Khalid Biyari and others, he was looking at me, how did you do this? I tell him, I do it in my room, in my home. I loved it. I loved modeling. So he said, Khalas, you are accepted. I'm the only one in AEC from King Abdulaziz University.
Nicely done. So, Ibraheem, there's no doubt you're a maverick.
Yeah, I'm maverick.
And of course, when you were selected to take Saudi on this transformation journey, people knew what they were buying into. But I think that when you told us the story of of how you approached it, what was really striking to us was, and you started with the story of the security guard today, and I think what was really striking to us was that you really understood the entire ecosystem of people that you had to engage, from the employees, of course the board, certainly the government, your customers, your competitors, your suppliers. Like, you had stories across the board.
Yeah.
And I think that that's fundamental to being able to change a system, is to understand all of it and to engage with all of it. And you have some incredible stories.
Yeah.
I wonder if you can start us with the pilot story.
Okay. So, 2020, Corona, COVID-19. I got a phone call from His Excellency, the Minister of Transport, saying, and His Excellency, the Director General of Saudi, saying, why don't you join us? We have a big transformation for Saudi. So I turned him down. I say, no, I'm not going to go to Saudi. I hated Saudi. I don't want to travel to Saudi. So I thought of it over and over and just said, okay, let's go. Why not? Let's take this risk. So I traveled to Jeddah in 2021, mid of 2021. In July 2021, I was asked to face pilots. Pilots, I don't know if you know that, but pilots in airlines is like physicians and doctors at hospitals. They see everyone nothing. So they see themselves as the thing. Those are who matters in the business. I don't know those guys, so I know that they are big deal. So I have to deal with them as big deal. So they know that there were transformation before that. Before me, there were some people who were tasked to do transformation before COVID-19, but it's mainly to cut costs. So I was in a hall, big hall, thousands of people. So there is a podium, and I just came into the podium humbly, before even saying the first word. Every one of those pilots has a mic like that. So that some of them, I think we have unions, but undercover unions. So he opened his mic and just said to me, listen, we know why you are here. We know that you are coming here to cut our salaries. We know that you are here to cut our benefits. It's not against you, but we hate transformation. We hate everything you guys are going to do. And everyone who's going to hear about transformation, we're going to push them back. I said, okay. So another person who just opened his mic and talked, same thing, even uglier, others. So after they finished, I just asked them one question. I'm not here to cut a cost. I'm not here to cut benefits. I'm here to share with you a problem I have. And I want you to own this problem the same way that I own this problem. This is why they hired me. If I failed, I will leave. But this is a generation after generation company where you came, your father was here, and your child going to be here, and this is your city. And I'm here just to add value and make a change. So the problem is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How do you think we should solve this problem? I gave them the financial problems, the customer experience problems, the many problems. So I told them, these are my problems, our problems. How are we going to solve them? I'm not going to cut your cost. I'm not going to cut your benefits. I'm not going to cut anything. Trust me, I have the authority, but I'm not going to do anything. So what happened is that they feel that they own the problem. They felt that I'm not here to cut cost, or I'm not here to cut benefits. I'm here to change the airlines. And that makes them feel that they are the transformation leaders, and I'm only a servant for them to make it happen. And this is why Saudi is now Saudi.
Beautiful story.
This
really
is the story.
Powerful.
Yeah.
You had a similar story with customers. I remember when I told someone that you were going to be our guest of honor tonight.
Yeah.
He said, oh my goodness, Ibraheem, bless him. He took quite a few beatings. He would put us all in rooms and we would beat him up and he would take it. And actually, I think also Dr. Fadi today said, I was in those forums where we were talking with customers and listening to their complaints and learning from them. Tell us about that.
Yeah, that was an interesting story to tell. So let me just start from when I got accepted to MISC 2030. I did not apply, just to be frank. There is one guy who was in MISC program 2030 who, I think cohort 2 or 3, He came to my office, Fahad Musa, and he said to me, you have to apply to Miss 2030. This is a program for you. I told him, listen, Fahad, you see all the problems all the time. I don't have the time. And this is the modules and things. He said, no, you have to apply. So the first time I apply and I got rejected. So I told Fahad, you see, they're not going to accept me. So the second time, he said, no, you have to apply. I applied for cohort 3, did not apply, accepted. I applied for cohort 4, they got accepted. So anyway, after I got accepted, no people from MESC, I traveled with them. I joined the WhatsApp group. By the way, whenever I join any company, and I work in railways, I work in Ministry of Security, Ministry of Interior, Ministry of Defense. When I join any organization, I feel this place has, it's my own place. I have to protect it. It's something that needs to be developed, improved. So I feel loyal to this place. I don't like people to speak anything bad about this place. Any place. So any place I join. And I worked internationally and I worked domestically. So when I joined WhatsApp group, I saw a lot of attack on Saudi Airlines. And Fahad Musa, who's my colleague, he told me, be careful. People going to say bad things about Saudi, so you have to take it easy. And don't attack them. I said, you know me, I do not attack them. I don't attack anyone. And they start criticizing Saudi. Some of these criticism were why Saudi did not do this, why Saudi did not do that, why Saudi did not do this. So I decided one day, I told them, how about I'm going to conduct sessions in Jeddah and Riyadh, and I'm going to invite you, change Saudi. Come to these sessions, participate in these workshops, and change Saudi. Participate in the transformation. And I was lucky. Abdul Zakhour was one of the people, and others, I think, they were part of the people who contributed. Wallahi, everything they said, and Fadi was the heading for Riyadh. So I did one, and by the way, I did it without the approval of my boss, without the approval of the marketing group. I got attacked many times, but I did it. And I collected every single comments, and we did design thinking. We collect all the initiatives, all the ideas, and I executed them. And everything you see now is not because of Ibraheem, it's because of you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Staying with your stakeholders, you couldn't have transformed the airline without all of its suppliers and its ecosystem. Even your competitors, you said something when we were talking that really stayed with me. You said, one hurts and everyone feels. Yeah. How did you approach going beyond your organization to transform?
Yeah. So aviation ecosystem has many stakeholders. So you have to understand the whole stakeholders, and you have to understand how you deal and manage those stakeholders. Now, the most important stakeholder in this whole equation, from my experience, my humble experience, is the employee who's working in this organization. You need to understand their needs. So Clay Christensen from Harvard, he said jobs to be done, which basically the things that you're going to do, develop for your customers. So you know proactively the needs of your customers and you address them. You don't have to be reactive all the time, complaining. That is why I was talking to someone and I told them that I hate call centers. I don't like call centers, so I like to be proactive to you. So the same thing applies, the same needs using Maslow's pyramids of needs for our employees. And no one size fits all. You have to listen to everyone. Same thing applies to the board of directors. So there are polarities, so our board of directors has needs. And the ecosystem, the regulators, GACA has needs. Others, competitors, suppliers. So what I did, I engaged them all in the transformation of Saudi. So I give them rules of those initiatives in the transformation of Saudi, and they were happy to engage. Like, for example, Airbus, for example, Amadeus, others. I met with them, and I told them, listen, we are not your client. I want you to serve the needs of our customers. I want you to help our people. I want you to localize what we are doing. And negotiation after negotiation. Same thing applies to the board of directors. Now, the board of directors has mandates. So you have to balance between the mandates of the board of directors and what's going on in the field. So you need to give them what they need, and without compromising the needs of your employees. So suppliers were very happy. They help us in our bottom line, in our costs. They participated in this. They were happy in this transformation, and they become my friends, very close friends. Especially the strategical partners of so every time I tell them, you are my partner, you're not my supplier. Think of it this way: the value chain has a lot of activities, and you play a big role in making these activities efficient and effective enough for Saudi to be profitable and to be a good customer-centric organization. And by the way, Saudi is not only the air transport; it's a group of companies. So we're talking about the logistics, cargo, Saudi air transport. We're talking about ground operations. We're talking about many companies. So I have to think differently from different perspectives. So this is the polarities. And by the way, I always look for common ground. I always listen to people, no matter who's these people. Yeah, by the way, when I came in on the office, I found out that I have 4 secretaries. So I told them, listen, I don't need secretaries. I removed my door, because I came from a school where you can access me easily. And you can share with me can you imagine I have 4
No.
secretaries? 4 secretaries, yani someone's scheduler, someone with so everyone has to do something. Yani. So I told them, listen, I don't need all this. I did not get rid of them. I told them, listen, let me tell you, you can do meaningful things rather than just answering my calls or doing my schedule. I can do this. So I make my door open. Everyone can come to my office. Everyone can share with me. I don't need an appointment. I don't need an appointment. Whenever you see me in office, just walk in. Just knock the door, tell me, Ibrahim, you have 5 minutes? Yes, come on in. So it's, or WhatsApp, mashallah, WhatsApp. Yeah, and I believe that everyone has a problem. Yeah, by the way, after the sessions with those guys, I give a commitment to myself that everyone, whoever he is, whoever she is, has a problem with Saudi, I will promise to solve it. I will not sleep until it's solved. And I will call everyone, even if I want to call the DG himself. And I'm not going to leave it and I will go, even if I have to go to the airport myself. And I did this to many of the MISCs and Harvard and others. I keep it clearly. If you have a problem, please contact me directly. Direct message me. Yeah, don't keep me talking.
I do. That's why you're here.
Yeah, that's it.
You know, obviously we're an organizational development company, so we care about what you did internally. We talked a bit about the pilots, but having now engaged all of this ecosystem and made them your partners, what internal interventions did you prioritize, and how did you think about it?
Every day is a new day in Saudi. Every day you have new opportunities, new challenges, new ideas, new thoughts, people, new peoples. New thinking, so you have a lot of issues. When I started this transformation, I embraced Qatar, the 8 steps. By the way, every framework or model, I applied it. Whatever comes to your head. So, yani, Porter forces, the balance scorecard, everything you took in the leadership classes. But what I like most, صراحة, Kabler-Ross diagram, which is the denial, anger, acceptance, depression, and then I don't know whether those like 5, and the Qatar 8 steps, which is started with urgency, then vision, communicate the vision, collision, then empowering people. All these, I marry them together. So every time I come to a meetings, I start in a meeting, I said, we don't have time. What do we want to solve? What is the problem? So I listen to people. By the way, I listen a lot. Yes, you see me talking now, but I like listening to everyone because I believe that everyone see the picture from his own angle. I might be wrong. I'm not sure that if I'm right or wrong. Whenever I try something, even any intervention in any systems within the organization, because I'm the safeguard or the guardian of the strategy of the group. So even if what strategy said left or right, we have scenarios, we have assumptions, we have risks, we have opportunities, we have market dynamics, we have people changes, we have many things. So it's non-linear. So I have to deal with things But of course, culture, you need to deal with culture every day. Culture is like an engine. You have to power it every day. You have to power it every day. But you have to power it with one, let me give you a piece of advice. You have to power it with hope. Wallahi, nothing else. With hope. Let them feel that there is always hope. Let them feel that they are part of the solution. Don't abandon anyone. Even anyone, you will see different personality. You will see the nagging personality, you'll see the criticizing, you'll see many personalities. You have to have this personality where you can deal, flexible, resilient personality, where you can deal with these different personalities. And once you have these, and once you listen, turn those negative energies into positive energies. And by the way, every year since 2021, I conduct what I called it, we called our strategy Shine. So you have to shine, so we shine. So every year we conduct recognitions and award 2 times a year where we dance, we give, they were like, what is this crazy executive is doing? I mean, how is he jumping on the stage, making all these things? And I celebrate everything. Whenever you have an occasion to celebrate, I celebrate in Saudi. Just to give people recognition. By the way, I start from the bottom to the top. يعني, I really value technicians. I really value cabin crew. I really value frontliners because I know the big pressure that they have from the whole business. And of course, I listen and I try to change their lives. Yeah, this is how I intervene in systems. And nothing right or wrong. If you tell me that this is the right way, and this is how we've learned it at university, I tell them, I don't care what you learned at university. Because I remember one thing. When I was in Harvard Business School, and I was taking GMP, I went to Porter office. I was very happy, and I was young, younger than this. And I like the tools. I like any tools, any model, balance scorecard, 5 forces. I like all this. So I went to his office and I told him, listen, I'm from Saudi Arabia. I'm really proud and to see you. And also Clay Christensen. I saw him before he passed away. So I told him, I used your model. You know what he responded back to me? He said, I thought that you were smarter than this. Wallahi, when he said this to me, I know what he meant after I left. Those models or frameworks were meant to give you the path, to show you the path, not to use it only. Yani balance scorecard, if you use it the same, it means that you guys are not creative enough. So I like what Wissam just said, the creative system. Or you have to embrace creativity by using these models and evolve them. Evolve these models based on your business. So if you are in a non-for-profit organization, not the same as for-profit organization, not the same as industries. What applies to Saudi Railway Company does not apply to Saudi Airline Company. What applies to government and Vision 2030 would not apply to others. So you have to be this flexible. And don't claim that you know everything. I'm still ignorant. I don't know a lot of things. Whenever I come to any meetings in the airline, I still learn. I don't know. Maybe I'm right or wrong. Even if I read the strategy 1,000 times, or I read IATA books, or I don't know if you know IATA, or IATA books, or those books, I'm still ignorant. I'm still learning. I don't know. I'm not as good as the technician who has practiced to lose the nut 10,000 times. So I'm not going to lecture him about how he's going to tie these knots. So I'm still learning, despite all the certificates. Okay.
I think that's really beautiful. You're showing us some of the mindsets to always be willing to question your mental models, to reconsider. But also you're reminding me, I'm going off script here, of a story you told me that I thought was really powerful, because you just talked about the screw. And we also talked about really big ideas. And I said, Ibraheem, it's fascinating. It's not every day you meet a leader who's capable of going into the infinite details, but also capable of flying and being really high in the altitude and having a big vision. And I love the story you told me about where you started and where you came. Can you share it again? About the person who gave you feedback when you were young.
Well, there are many people who give me feedback when I was young. But I'm going to give you many stories, but I don't remember which one of them. But if
the one where you were more detail-oriented when you were young.
Yeah. See, when you graduate from engineering, of course you make attention to every detail because you are a very logical guy. If it's not a process, you don't understand what is going on. Your mind is steps, ins and outs and processes. And I was very detailed guy at my early stages in my career. So there's one of the leaders, he just told me, listen, you're good, but you pay attention to many details. You need to let go. Nothing perfect. So you need to make sure that you look to the big picture. So since then, that was during, it's a shift in my career actually, because when he said this to me, he rang a bell in my career, because I thought of how am I supposed to look into the whole picture and not pay attention to the details? Because the devil is there, right? So I have to address the issues. I have to know everything. So and this is right after I came from Harvard, and that was from GMP. Since then, I looked to things from 40,000 feet. And I pay attention to whatever it matters, not everything. So, and I give the benefits of doubt always to the people who make decisions. And I like the phrase of perfection is the enemy of success. And I like the end decisions is bad, it's worse than bad decisions. So if you do not make decisions, it's worse than making bad decisions. So I look into the thing 306. By the way, but when you do transformation, this is another thing that you might walk out with. You depict all the, by the way, I'm also a visual guy, so I see things in front of me, and it's like the VR or something. So I see things, I see the value chain, I see the activities. So every time I want to change something or a system here, I want to see what would happen to this place. So what is the 360 impact that might happen if I change this? What if I leave it as it is, do nothing? I keep it, even if it's working, it's working. Let me focus on something else. Because if I change here, I might cause another problem there. So I have to look at, this is where the big picture comes. So the big picture comes again from Porter, the value chain. But the value chain in airlines and all others, it's big. So this particular event has shifted my details-oriented system to a 360 or 40,000 feet system. And makes me feel and sense the business and the business model from the supply side to the demand side. I just want to add one thing, because there's another thing that makes a difference in my personality. I always abandon my feelings. I don't care if I'm happy, unhappy. So I thought that feelings comes next. And first, you have to be pragmatic, you have to be goal-oriented, result-oriented, you have to do things, you have to push yourself to the limit, you have to stretch, and you have to show your muscles. ما في muscles بس هنا. You have to show your muscles, you have to كذا. But there was a coach who came to me and just say, and I love this guy, and his guy is a very good guy. He told me, people are made of feelings. You don't know the potential power that you have, that you have hidden all these years from not unleashing your feelings. And wallah, when I follow his thoughts and his advices, I turn those feelings into how can I listen and absorb these negative things in you and turn them into positive feelings. This happens a lot, Tara, in big transformation. By the way, Saudi has 38,000 people. You know how big it is? It's 38,000 people. They work around the clock. Everyone has a story, everyone has complications, everyone has problems. And in order to absorb all this energy, you need to know how to deal with this energy, or otherwise it's going to hurt you.
We are going to talk about that,
Yeah,
how you take care of yourself in this process. One last question before I invite Wissam for your first reflection round. You've spoken a lot to us about the constructive things that you've done. Shine, the positivity, bringing everybody on board. But sometimes to make systems do new things, there are things you have to break.
Yep.
What's something that you had to break in your experience?
This is how we used to do it. You will hear a lot of people saying this phrase. We used to do it this way. This is might hurt you because it's against the policy. Another phrase. When I came to Saudi, I found many systems that's between me or between us and between our goals. So I spoke to the minister. I told him, listen, this has either one or two ending to this story. Either I will go to jail or you will find a superhero that you haven't seen before and you'll salute me and you'll recognize me. What will happen is I said to him that I'm going to step on every policy or any bureaucratic practice in anywhere in Saudi if it's between me, if it stands between me and the initiative that I'm going to execute. And wallahi, literally, I do not send emails, exchange emails a lot. So if you send me an email, I will send you another email with 4 words, what is going on, how can I help? If you responded back with a blog, I responded back to you by saying, I'm coming to your office. Immediately. I do not exchange emails. Because I know people, and دحين مع ChatGPT, يعني one day ChatGPT stopped working كده for 2 or 3 hours.
No emails.
No emails. يعني I do not write more than 2 lines يا شباب. فيعني ما شاء الله في ناس صاروا they tried to write an article يعني. And even they helped me when I post something in LinkedIn. They said, listen, just give it to me. We will polish it and put it in and we'll put it in LinkedIn. So anyway, I have to step on many bureaucratic practices. These are legacy systems or legacy policies. And by the way, sometimes people create their own fear from nothing. Yani I was in a meeting once, and they said to me, and this is procurement, they said to me, no way we can do this. It's against the policy. So the simple question that I'm going to ask in this meeting is, show me the policy. Wallahi, they went back. There is nothing. Nothing written. Can you imagine this? There's nothing written. It's like a boogeyman. They were afraid of something that does not exist. So I told them, listen, daydreaming is not in Saudi. We need to make this happen, and we need to make it happen yesterday. And by the way, I was always in Saudi and rush. Let's do it, let's do it, let's do it. By the way, there is another minister, I learned from him the power of now. Why can't we do it now? See, project management is about waterfall, repetitive things. I was a volunteer in PMI, Chapter Saudi, and part of it, and PMP, of course, so for a long time. And I always tell PMP or PMI, US, I tell them, you put everything in a manual to find excuses for project managers not to deliver. Can you imagine in 2002, I took the PMP, it was only 220 pages. Now it's 1,050 pages. Come on. First of all, there is no way any of those people who had received this certificate going to apply any of these knowledge areas. Because in real life, something is different. You need to take decisions. So anyway, I looked into these processes, policies, and people. By the way, of course, if you are not with us,
you're against us.
I'm going to try make you with us. I'm going to give you the first alert. I'm going to talk with you. I'm going to reason with you. But if you are not part of this game and you are still making troubles, it's better, wallah, this is my piece of advice. Keep him away from your system because he's going to jeopardize others. يعني I found people deep states طبعا يا جماعة. So you have to find the heads, you have to understand what they are doing, you have to understand how they think. يعني في someone came to my office in early 2022 and he said to me, trust me, if this transformation becomes successful, I'm not going to continue in this company. I said, listen, you are talking with the most stubborn, most يعني opinionated, most aggressive person in Saudi Arabia. I was in Vision 2030, by the way. I was kicked out from ministries and other because we want to change them. I was in the privatization, I was in the Code of Life. So I know how to deal with people. I tell, listen, why are you saying this? So I reason with them. I use Qatar. If you know Qatar 8 steps, I use Qatar. But I will eliminate immediately. I will write down to him and say, listen, you're not going to be part of this transformation. You have to step down. Let others do their job. But without harming the person. Because I know behind every person, there is a family. There's commitment. And always I did something called triangle. Clarity, commitment, consistency. This is my invention. So clarity, you have to be clear about whatever you want to do. And whenever you make a promise, you have to commit to deliver. So you are in a meeting. And you said that you're going to deliver this next Sunday. You have to deliver it next Sunday. Or otherwise, I will be in your doorsteps. Myself. Last thing, consistency. If you do this thing right, make it consistent. Let people see that your service is consistent. So this is how I deal with things inside Saudi.
Thank you.
And not only Saudi, حتى in the past.
Thank you for reminding us not to let anything get in between us and our goals.
Yeah.
Wissam, can I invite you? We're going to do something different, as we said earlier.
Great, thank you. When we were preparing for today, one of the notes that we wrote down is reiterate something from Ibraheem's story. The problem is there's like 30 things I want to reiterate right now. So I'm just going to choose one of them and something really to lead us into the first intervention for today. One of the things about system thinking that I talked about this morning is this idea of shifting from being an object in your system to being a subject, somebody who acts on the system. And that requires that we create this separation, right? To be able to observe the water in which we swim. Can we see the dynamic forces that are acting? And something, Ibraheem, that you mentioned that I thought was really great was this idea that we don't know, that we don't hold on to any idea as being the right idea.
Exactly.
Until we try it. And this is so beautiful because when I work with a lot of leaders, they feel very strongly about some ideas before they've had the chance to test them out. But holding that judgment until you've seen how that idea plays out puts you in a position to observe the system rather than being part of that system. So what I'd like you to do is I'm going to ask a question, a reflection prompt. What is something important you're trying to make happen at work or through work right now? And I'd like you to ask that question. Work with somebody sitting next to you, but preferably somebody that you didn't walk in with today. And we're going to follow a protocol. I'd like you to ask them that question. Listen for 2 minutes. And if you're the person being asked, speak for 2 minutes. Answer that question. And then I'd like you to spend a minute telling them what you heard. And then switch roles, okay? So the question for today is, what's something important you're trying to make happen at work or through work right now? This is going to be the first question. I hope that was a useful conversation, and I hope you're able to land on something that you're trying to do. So if I can get your attention, please. So keep your system hat on as you think about those things that you're trying to do. We'll continue the conversation, and we'll come back with another thought-provoking question later. Marilyn, back to you.
Thank you. I really love when it's difficult to get you guys to recenter here, because it means you were having a great conversation. This question that we asked you is because the idea is that we need to find the purpose for the systems that we operate in. And we wanted you to spend a small moment thinking about your own purpose, as Ibraheem has shared with us, how not to let something get in between you and your goal. And later, maybe we'll think a little bit about what might be getting in between you and your goal and what you're going to do about it. Ibraheem, we spoke a lot about the organization, but I want to zoom in a little bit. Because in addition to your leadership of the organization and its ecosystem, you also lead a team. And you play a bigger, even bigger role, if that was possible, in their own lives. And I want to talk a little bit about how you show up with your own team members, the people around you who are actually helping you to execute all of this, because we never do anything important alone. You spoke a lot about, for yourself, how you learn, how you don't show up with answers. How do you teach your team members to deal with failures, to drive learning? How do you create that for them, not just for yourself?
See, this is very important question, because you need to trust your team. You need to make sure that they're going to make mistakes, because they have to learn. My team, I know their names, I know their families, I know their problems, I know what they need. I live their lives. I'm not the best to manage or lead the team, but I feel that in order to be a good leader or know my team, I need to understand what problems they have, what needs they have, what do they need, what is their family issues, their personal issues. I have to understand. Second, I trust them, meaning I do not do micromanagement at all. You can ask them. By the way, I can give you by names. Why? Because I give them authorities, and I tell them, go do this. If you need my guidance, ask me. I'm always there for you. And because I'm not afraid of anyone, I don't care if they make mistakes. And if they do mistakes, if they fail, I'll take the hit in front of His Excellency. I'll tell, listen, we will do again. It happens. But I always ask them to ask for my advice or others' advice if they believe that they are not sure about a decision that they're going to make. I always also make sure that they talk to each other. I intentionally do not go to work sometimes on time. Although because I work for the Minister of Defense and others, I'm very disciplined here. But I intentionally come at 10 o'clock, stay at my office, do some other work, and leave the things with them. I intentionally do not attend some of those meetings because I want their personality to prevail. I want them to feel that they are in charge. I want to build their personalities. I'm proud throughout my career. If I give you some names of people who has worked with me, where they are right now, they are way better than me. And I'm very proud of them. Ladies and gentlemen. It's not only one gender. And the reason why I do this is because I believe that one day I might leave or might not be here. So because I believe the sense of belonging to the organization, I feel that I need to keep someone there. If something happens, he can run the show. Even the HR told me, we like how you make copies, Sheerah copies of you. Because I teach them, because the way I lead my team is by making sure that they know why they are doing what they are doing. It's not what they are doing, just only what they are doing. So I'm not going to tell them just follow up on this, make sure that this is happening. No. Do you know why we are doing this? Do you know what the business case is saying? What if we fail not to do this? What do you think? So I want them to think. I want them always to question the status quo. I want them to say why. So I love many whys. I want them to come to me and just say to me that this is wrong. Of course, we celebrate. Yeah, one day we failed in 4 initiatives and we celebrated. They were very afraid. Yeah, I remember one day I was not in the office. I was on vacation and I came back, and this is a very good story. So there was an admin person in my team, and he came to me. Wallahi, he was shaking, and his hands was shaking, and he was very afraid. I told him, what is going on? He sent the wrong letter to the wrong entity. And because of this, someone from my team could not make it to Airbus in France. So he came to me. By the way, this someone, he works for me. He's a project manager, so he works for me. And another strategy guy works for me. So he came to me and just said, I did a mistake. By the way, I was happy when a person like this, very humble person, Tara, and he has no complications like me, very humble insan, when he came to me and admitted a problem, to me, is a success. He did not hide it. He just come to me and just say, Abu Mulham, Ibrahim, I made a mistake. You know what I did? I left my office, I took him, and we went for lunch together. And very common place for lunch, not a luxurious. And I was sitting with him on the floor, we were talking. So how is your father? I know everything about him, Tara. He has a very difficult life. Very, very difficult life. If you know his life, how he put it together, you have to respect him and you have to give him a credit of all the problems he has. So I love my team. I manage them from the bottom of my heart. When I become angry of someone, I become angry because I want him to be better than what he thinks he is. And I know that there is greatness hidden in everyone. In everyone. Don't underestimate anyone, because I believe that what God gives us is just a matter of how you let it go, let it be out for others to see. So it's good to unleash this. It's good to see this greatness. I know people, when I come to my team, by the way, when I came to Saudi, I did not bring anyone from my previous companies. I'm not like the people whoever go to a new company, bring his team. No, I do not do this. I see what is there. I see how good they are. I told them, I make some tests. So I told everyone, please paint a picture of how do you see Saudi today, and how do you want Saudi to be 5 years from now. And I had many good pictures from them. This is one of the tools that you might be happy to apply. And I told them in one meetings like this, very social meeting, how can we make this happen? And I made them feel that if they are executing initiative in Vision 2030, so I told them this, whatever you're doing is national strategy. It's not about the company and you're getting salaries. If you think like this, you're not going to go anywhere. You have to make sure that you are connected to the bigger picture, to the Vision 2030. And I'm proud of every single one of them. Whoever started with me, and whoever was with me before Saudi and in Saudi and continue with me. Taban, by the way, I do something I don't think that any managers do. Whenever someone come to me with an offer, job offer from other place, you know what I tell him? Allah. No, I ask him, why are you going there? I want you to go, if you want to start a new career or a new level or chapter in your life, start big. And I will help you going there. Why? Because I found it is an opportunity to create another leader. It's like a breeding machine. I like that. Right? So this is how I deal with my team. By the way, my team sometimes become worried if they want to challenge an idea I have, because I have a lot of books in my office. I read a lot. So whenever they want to challenge an idea, they came to me at the beginning, 2022. They said, "Can we say, is this wrong?" I tell them, "This is from Professor whoever, and it's totally wrong. He wrote all this book, 300 pages. It's all nonsense. What do you think?" Wallah, I did this in my office once. He think, what can we can do it this way. We can go to the technicians and the maintenance, and we can do it this way. I told him, let's do it this way. And we created one of the initiatives. By the way, I do not see only my team as my team. I see the whole organization. So if you come from commercial, you come from loyalty, you come from maintenance, you come from another company, logistics, I treat you as if you are one of my team. And I want to teach you something. You will never walk away from my office without something that you've learned. This is a promise from my side. So this is how I treat my team.
I love that. Obviously, you're
but
clearly...
sometimes I have my moments.
I'm sure. You're clearly a people's person. But what I also hear a lot from leaders, especially those who come saying, I don't want to firefight anymore, is where they sometimes get lost, is how to set a standard of excellence for the people around them without being the person who finishes everything or who controls everything. So you've told us a lot about how you help to develop the people around you. How do you set the standard? And what are the practices that you can teach us in how we can maintain excellence even when we're not in the room?
I create what I call maturity model. And whenever I set goals to my team, by the way, I set goals to my team, not to individuals. So if we fail all together.
Hello.
If we win all together. And this is why I give hard time to HR. So I told them, listen, if we get all 4 out of 5, we are all 4 out of 5. You can pick. And I fight for them. So I draw a path. I tell them, listen, you are here. These are the gaps. This is where you want to be in 4 or 5 years. And it's not an easy journey. You have to push yourself. You have to make sure that you are stretching yourself. And I put goals. Now, achievable goals. And also, I give them, I don't know if I am allowed to say that or not, but I'm going to say that. So I give them something from myself. So I tell them, listen, you're going to get the award from Ibraheem Sheerah. It's not from Saudi. If you do this as an individual, I'm going to get you to Spain for a training. I'm going to give you a voucher for 10,000 riyal. I'm going to give you something. I'm going to do this. And by the way, I did it even in Misk when we did this customer experience. I brought vouchers for 10,000, all from my pocket. So when I do this, I show them the framework of excellence. I show them when they need to be, of course, based on the career, if they are working in strategy, if they are working in project management, if working in operation excellence, if they are working in business, because I do the business modeling and business cases. So we also investments, we do all this, and digital, someone talked to me about digital. So we do about the digital transformation. So I give them all the excellence in every framework. And I ask them to follow this excellence framework. And of course, by the way, I work with every top 10 consulting firms you ever imagine. يعني McKinsey, without saying يعني الأسماء, I said also McKinsey because I embrace what's good from them and I embrace some framework from them and I applied it to my team from every journey, milestones I've done in my career. And by the way, this is a dynamic kind of excellence. It's not like one time fits all or one size fits all. It's a milestone. The bottom line is your team or is your subordinates or your peer capable of making decisions by his own and bear the consequences of the decisions that he's going to make? If he or she can do this, I'm done. He can keep going by himself. He can do the thing by himself. And I remember also I was also giving some advices to entrepreneurs, to some of the startups. You need to make decisions. So excellence to you or any framework supposed to align with your 5 years goals. Where do you want to be? يعني last 5 years I didn't know where I want to go. Last 5, خلاص I don't know where to go. Maybe I want to be minister or something.
Why not?
I hope. I hope not. I see how they are يعني very busy. مساكين. I feel pity.
I'm going to quote something you said, by the way, just to resonate. You said this to us in one of our discussions. You said that when you walk into a meeting, you stay quiet for the first 10 minutes because you know that if a system doesn't need your input, you don't interrupt it. I thought that was really wise, which is sometimes the best thing a leader can do is do nothing. The one more question I have for you about how you lead, and you talked about it earlier, but I want to just double click on it for a second. You said, I always use this metaphor that you have to be a gardener when you're a leader, and sometimes that includes cutting things out. That's how you help these plants or these trees to grow. And you talked about like having the courage to letting people go or pushing them aside. Where's the moment you decide you're done with someone or something and you're ready to let them go?
That was in many times, but that was in 2023. It was a big confrontation. I listen a lot to how people think, not the words that comes from their mouth. So when I talk to you, words are frequencies. Let's talk physics. Huh? Words are frequencies. I can understand the frequency because I learned, this is my native language, if it's Arabic, or if English I can translate, and I'm still human, so I can understand, I can feel you. But I pick some signal words when you talk to me. I know if you are a hopeless case or someone who are capable to be changed by many actions. I give you a lot of benefits of that. So 2023, I talked to someone, I confronted him, I told him, listen, you promised me once, I believed you. You promised me twice, I believed you. And last time, when we met, I pretended that you have not given me any promises, and I thought that I was talking to a man of his words. But you let me down. Because of this, not because of Saudi, I have no respect to you. This guy is 10 years older than me and around 38 years experience in aviation. And he was afraid of this. So he came to my office. By the way, work is something, personal relation is something else. So when he came to my office, and I invited him to coffee, I invited him to sweets and things, and we were talking, we closed the door, I told him, listen, you're not part of this transformation, trust me. I can see how you work. This is not the way that we're going to work, and you're going to suffer. Step down. This guy is still there, but he's an advisor now. So these are moments, and another moment is that after I finished a meeting, I was very aggressive about that meeting. So after the meeting, I said, you're not going to be in, I was, someone, by the way, during the journey of transformation, I get, of course, attacked by many people. And of course, the people who put me in a very embarrassing situation in front of the legal, in front of the HR, in front of, if I know a supplier, they said that I'm corrupted, these kind of situations. So one day I went to the legal head, he's not there anymore. So I told him, listen, I want you to sign this paper. He said, no, it's not like that. You have to put it in the system that has to go to multiple level. I said, I came to your office and you're going to sign this paper. Otherwise, you're not going to go to your home. Are you threatening me? I'm threatening you. Close the door. I took this out. He said, خلاص, bring it. He read it كده and he took it. Since this day, he followed every step I do to trap me, to put me in a situation where I become a victim of something that he did. And I was laughing because I know this will happen, not even here, even the Vision 2030. So I always ask for the protection of the ministers and of the DG. I told them, listen, bad things will happen. People will say, will do a lot of nonsense things. I will take them as friendly things. I don't care. If anything will happen, I will take it very easily, very smoothly, and positively. So this guy, I was the reason why he was fired. But I met him afterward. I told him, listen, why did you hate me all this? What do you think he said? He said that you are taking all the shine lights and the credits and the things. I said, Wallahi, I'm not here for the credits. I'm here just to transform this company, or otherwise it's going to be a junkyard. You have to believe in your company. He said, after I left, I noticed what you've done. So we become still friends, but he become retired after because he's, by the way, I'm talking about the generation very old generations of Saudi. I can deal with young generation. Yeah, I think I can, because I've tried with Generation Z, Alpha, Beta, those, not X. I'm X, not X. Because those X are X-Men.
Thank you for that. I have one last question before our second intermission. And you kind of hinted at it, which is you also learned a lot about how to transform systems when you worked on national programs with Vision 2030 and the programs you were a part of. If you had to share one lesson from that time about how to change a system, what would it be?
Nothing impossible. One day I was in my office, and His Excellency Ahmed Al-Khatib brought to me a file that thick called Da'im. I don't know if you know Da'im or not. It's about hobby groups. And by coincidence, I know the people who used to work for Da'im in the Ministry of Economic and Planning, and I know that this program did not make it. And there were around 55 people. And he brought me this file and say we want to make this hobby group. If you know Howie, communities, Howie. I'm going to name 3 persons for Howie. I'm going to name Najla Al-Ajmi. Was one of my team. I'm going to name Abdulaziz Saeed and myself. We were 3. How can we make Da'im alive? First of all, I said to His Excellency, let me be responsible. If I fail, I will leave. This is khalas, this is So I took it. You know how many stakeholders want this hobby community things? Many stakeholders, sports, Ministry of Culture, others, they all want to be the champion or the head of. And I found myself confronted with many big names. At the end, I'm just human, ya Jama'ah. And I could go, I don't know what to do. So I sit down with my team, with the lady, which she's now heading a director in the gaming fund. And Abdel Saeed is in PIF. So those guys are leaders. So we sit down together and say, how are we going to start? So I learned from Da'im people. So I talk with Fawaz Farougi. He's the Ministry of Culture. He's now in Roya, I think, in the cruise company. I talk with many others. What went wrong? What went right? What did you do wrong that delayed Da'im? Why Da'im did not come to alive back then? So I collected all this information. I picked another path. I went to the Minister of Human Resources, and I remember that day when I told them we want to regulate hobby groups in the kingdom. They looked at me from bottom to top and they said, what the hell you were talking about? This is not your job, not your business. Stay away. So I was very persistent until one day we got this Da'im, we called it Howie, and we created the brand in the quality of life. And we contracted with a company to do the website. I'm very proud of Howie, by the way. And I was taking care of the regulation part. So I went back and forth to have the charter of Howie and the board of directors. I was the chairman of of Howie. And I put every stakeholder as a member of the board of Howie. Every stakeholder. Minister of Interior, Minister of Sports, Minister of Culture, so we all in this together. And we create all the bylaws of Howie. And if you know Mazrou al-Mazrou, my dear friend, Mazrou, he's in Al-Murabba الآن. Mazrou al-Mazrou, he's the first one who got the license from Howie when I was in the quality of life. So you will get the number of Howie, the license. So this story, the moral of the story, or the summary of this, by the way, I'm talking about something that takes 2 years, felt like 15 years. Yeah. But what is good about this, I lift a system that's working. And you can see the promotions of Howie now. I don't give credit to myself. I give credit to Najla Al-Ajmi and Abdel Said. Wallahi, those guys are the reason, those equal to 55 people. I really admire them and respect their determination and their dedication to this program. And Fawaz Farouqi and Noha Gattan from Minister of Culture, she told me, how did you do this? How did you convince all these ministries to be around the table and you are the chairman from the quality of life? So this stakeholder management. So you have to know how to deal with people. So nothing impossible.
No.
Yeah, you can do things, but you have to know what's in it for them. Yeah. You have to talk it out. Yeah.
Wise. Thank you. Wissam, may I invite you again?
Yes,
for
thank you.
Our second and last intermission.
For the second intermission. So we heard a couple of things that I thought were really interesting. We heard, I think one theme that cut through a lot of what we heard in the last segment is really the courage to act, right? Because you're constantly trying new things in your system. You constantly want things to happen. And this idea of trying things, experimentation, what works, what doesn't work, being okay with mistakes and a little bit of failure here and there as we learn about how the system works. So we're going to challenge you to build on the answers of your first question, where you thought about what's important for you right now at work or through work. And our next question is in two parts. The question is, how does the system you're in, and this could be the processes, the people you work with, or the culture, how does this make it easier or harder for you? The really important thing you're trying to do, how does the system you're in make it easier or harder from you? Share that with with your partner. And then here's what I'd like you to do. The partner, I'd like you to give them one perspective or action you'd like them to try. Because when you're dealing with somebody else's system, it makes it that little bit easier to have that separation that's so important for coming up with solutions. Okay? So again, how does the system you're in make this easier or harder for you? And then the person listening, what's one thing you'd like them to try? And then you switch again. Okay? So we're going to give you another 6 minutes, 3 minutes for the first person, 3 minutes for the second.
All right. I have one last question for Ibraheem before we wrap up. Final. We can now turn off the music. I know, it's late. If you guys came on time, we'd be done sooner. Feedback. You were on time, it's true.
If you stay late, I will sing a little bit.
Oh. Ibraheem, even just now in this conversation, what comes out of your story as well, not just how much you're a people person, but how much energy you pour into the people and the systems around you. And energy is always a difficult thing. As leaders, in order to do all of the 6,000 things that we're asked to do, it's a very energetic process. And so in all of this, what I want to close on is, how do you take care of yourself?
Well, I failed to take care of myself. There is always casualties in the process. When I enter Saudi, alhamdulillah, I had no health issues. Now I have high blood pressure. But it's controllable high blood pressure. It's not high blood pressure, it's high. But the reason I practice a hobby, I generated hobby club, so I practice hobbies. So when I do hobbies, I like to write things. I like to read books. I like to listen to WhatsApp, look into WhatsApp. I like to listen what Fadi is doing right now. I like to make jokes. I like to socialize. But again, there is one thing I practice which makes, I don't know if you practice being alone for some time. It's very effective. And if you stay alone for, I don't know, half a day alone for something and do nothing, just walk or see what's going on around you. Don't talk a lot like what I did. Absorb the nature, absorb the surrounding. Of course, I'm in Saudi, so I take advantage of traveling. So I travel a lot in places. I meet people, humble people. All these things impacts my energy and personality. Whenever I feel that I have this size of a problem, I talk to people to listen to their problems. I never share my problems with them. I ask them to share their problems with me. So I want to know, benchmark, benchmark. So I want to know how big or small my problem is compared to their problems. And by the way, when consultants come to my, no hard feeling, but they're just saying, because I used to be consultant for McKinsey. When consultants do something, they use benchmark. Benchmark to me is like when your mother is jealous of your nephew and always compare you to your nephew, your cousin or maybe. So why he's better than you? You have everything. Well, this is benchmark. He has his own situation and his own market share, his own, and I have my own. I'm different than him. Maybe I love music. He like football. Maybe I love. So it's not apple to apple. It's never apple to apple. No matter how they do benchmark, that is why when they do the transformation for anything, the consultants always say where you are with other airlines, where you are. And by the way, it's the same thing the consultants do for the Emirates, for example, or for Etihad. So where you are with others compared to others. It is not like that. We are unique. So you have to be uniqueness. You look for uniqueness, not to be the best among others. You have to differentiate yourself by who you are, not what you do and how to compete or how to win the game or win the play there. So going back to my health, I want to talk to you, this is a very good story. I want to talk to you one day. I spent 4 months in Japan with the UN. So I went to Tokyo, to Kyoto, to Osaka. And when I went to Kyoto, I went to a place, it's like a retreat, a place. They called it, they trained you how to be quiet all the day. Not to say a word, not to listen to any noise, not to do anything, except listening to nature. It is a very good treatment for your soul. طبعا, if you practice a faith, if you are a Muslim or you are a Christian, if you practice a faith, you believe in something, this also will help. Because you're going to practice what you believe, you're going to have something to complain to convince to مدري to احنا, there is a practice always, whenever you feel كده, you go to Mecca to do Umrah, to do Hajj. So I know many friends from different religions, and I know them from Harvard, I know them from INSEAD, I know them. So every religion, by the way, they have their own way of practicing. And we meet. طبعا, others, they run away from their problems by practicing bad things against their health. So again, I'm not that good in my health because I'm pushing myself a lot in my workplace.
We're working on it.
Yeah, I'm still.
Ibraheem, thank you. Round of applause for our beautiful guest. Thank you for reminding us that systems aren't built or changed overnight, that they are shaped through the tiny decisions and the way you choose to show up in every conversation and every reflection, and that hopefully we are building systems that will stay long after we're no longer in the room. And with that, we want to close you. I'll get there. Ibraheem will read it out for us with a final thought.
It's a very good phrase from the Holy Quran. إن الله لا يغير ما بقوم حتى يغيروا ما بأنفسهم. Change comes from inside, comes from the people. So this phrase teaches us that we need to work on ourselves so God can change us to better things. I'm not explaining this, but the way that I read it, there's many interpretation of this phrase in the Quran, but the way I read it is, be the change that the world is expecting you to be. And always be grateful that every day you can wake up. Wallahi, believe me, you are the richest person in the world. You are healthy. You have people who loves you. You have people who you hang out with. You have a job. You have people to listen to you. What else you would be wishing for? I eat best food. I travel to. What is really happiness is this. I've seen people who has problems in health. I've become very grateful for what I have. I've seen people who has problems with their kids. I've seen people who has problems with their friends. And one shocking moment I had in my life in 2018, when one of my closest friends died on his bed. And I was informed while I was in Riyadh. I couldn't believe, because my mind always said that you're going to die when you are 70 or 80 or 90. You're not going to die when you become 40. It's a heart attack. So while he's asleep, so I was shocked. And Mazrou al-Mazrou, I remember him, he came to me and said, Ibrahim, you need a treatment, because it becomes very shocking to me. It's a turning point. To me, it means that I have to be grateful every day. I wake up and breathe. Healthy. Why we have to take this personal, or I hurt myself? Let it go. Yeah. And time solves everything. Time solves everything. And you see people suffering everywhere. What is your biggest problem? Come on. Your biggest problem is your car is not the latest version, is not Tesla, or your biggest problem, your house is 600 meters or 300 meters small. There are people that do not have houses. The people do not have clean meals. The people do not have clean water. I've seen this, wallah, in India. I've seen this in other places. I've seen in Far East. I've seen this in even Middle East. So you have to be grateful of what God give you. Wallahi, this is a message to everyone. You have to be grateful of everything you achieved so far in your life. Because every one of us has his timeline.
And as you said, we're all magic. We're done. Join us for a picture. This time it won't be in Sayad only, Leaders 2030 only. Please, everybody, join us on stage.
2030.